I think.
Well, before we segue, I should say, I'll go to Lamb, who's sometime at OTAs, right? But Lamb talks about going against this defense in OTAs, and I think he said frustrating was the term. Was that what it was? I think
Yep.
frustrating,
Yep.
and learning it, but talked about how good it was to go against it to figure out what they need to do. Check mark there, right? If we're having the conversation in general about what's this defense looking like very early in OTAs and where it's at, and to hear Lamb talk about it being frustrating, I thought it was an interesting term from him, Lord Dilly, with the frustrating side. So defense getting acclimated. Lamb's like, this is a little frustrating. Music to my ears in
It's
OTAs,
good.
anyways.
Frustrate your all pros, man, opposite across the field from me, because it just makes everybody better. Um, you couldn't heap better praise on a defense that was just so abysmal last year. And I don't know who he was talking about specifically, if there was anybody specific or not, but just to hear that the cornerbacks are doing their job. First off, they got the communication down, it sounds like. So that's first step. Great news, right? And Caleb Downs, I'm sure, has a lot to do with that, and just how
Mm.
smart he is lining guys up already, lining up veterans when they're in the wrong spot just a few days into his first season here as a Cowboy. So that's great news. But to hear the health of the secondary improving, Ravel's running around out there without an e-brace on, looking smooth. I'm very excited for what this secondary is now this year, health wise, player wise, all that, versus what it was last year. And so far, I think they're off to a phenomenal start, as good as a start as you could hope for, in not having pads on and all that in OTAs.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year OTAs was, Elam, man. Elam's looking good in
Oh, it's true.
OTAs.
Yeah.
This year, Kalen Carson looking really good in OTAs. It's a fun time. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
And look, I
Yeah.
do think Carson, when he was healthy last year at times, I mean, I think he was your best cornerback last year, honestly. So it's good to hear these progressing. Like, all news is good news. When we're hearing good stuff, we want to hear that. Like, look, Durant out there getting the interception, even. Right. Okay. Ravel, I mean, right. The biggest thing we talk about health all the time. Ravel, no limitations, no brace. Excited to see those things for him into year two as he's progressing, and a guy that we're looking at to see if he can take over a starting cornerback spot 1 year removed from being a third round draft pick. Little I mean, I don't say disappointed. Like, man, we got Jalen Thompson, and out of the gate and all the way till now, oh, they're working on the chords, right? A strained pec, but not concerning.
Yeah.
Preventative, just taking our time with him. But man, I
Yeah.
want to see him out there a little bit, even though it's
As long as
OTAs.
he's out there with the pads on,
It's
all
all
good when
good.
we get to Oxnard. It's all good. But talking about Ravel and some of these other guys too, we were talking offline earlier, and some of the things we look for, you can't put a lot of stock into OTAs and what you see, right? There's guys that are third, fourth string guys that are playing with the starters because other
No,
guys are
Dilly,
out there
they're
running the
all
books.
pros right now. I saw it in OTAs. They're all pros.
So
Okay.
it's Super Bowl bound. All right, I got it. But really, you're looking for health is one of the things I look at, right? And you're looking at guys who, especially really specifically, lower leg injuries. And you look at Ravel, knee brace last year, didn't seem comfortable at all. Had the setback early in the season in camp, pushed him back, and so now for him to be out there without the brace on, running around, all reports are positive that he's looking good. He's feeling good. His mentals are there. Ravel could be a guy who could have a breakout season, really turn both him and Overshown, two guys that could really turn how this defense was last year into something special, or at least serviceable this year, given the increased health, the better health of those guys, plus Bland potentially, plus the additions. It's basically a whole new look defense. Even the guys that were here last year weren't even healthy. So health plus new additions equals a question mark. We'll see, but it could be something good.
I mean, well, speaking of Overshawn, just married over the weekend, Saturday, and
Yay!
salute to him, salute to the 903 brethren of mine. Um, he Shoddy was there, Britt Brown was there, a little family action, if you will. Football is family. Came back, said, yeah, I got my wedding ring, and now it's Super Bowl ring. It's ring season. I said, okay, Overshown, I see you. But as we're mentioning Overshown, are we ready for Overshown as a Mike linebacker? Right, that's been kind of the buzz here since he's came back to and joined OTAs after getting married. Once again, salute to him getting married. But Mike work, green dot action. Although the green dot's been traveling around a little bit, but are we starting to see a form here, Dylan? Remember whatever Shoddy opening said, I have my favorite, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Do we think Overshown is who Shawty was talking about?
I just want to put it out there. Overshown was the guy that I talked about way back when he said that first. It's a guy that's been here, a guy that's obviously a super smart player, has great, athleticism, great traits as long as his legs are okay. Really a player who I think was on track to be a potential All-Pro in the NFL, but injuries can derail things, and unfortunately, that's what happened.
Right.
But I thought it was Overshown all along, if we're being honest with you. Now, is he going to really be the Mike? Is he really going to wear the green dot? I don't know. Winters was there as well, so it could be some switching around, some movement. We talk about being multiple, moving guys around the defense. We'll see. We'll have a better idea come camp time. But like I said just a few minutes ago, you're seeing guys playing kind of all over the place where they won't necessarily be come camp in the actual regular season.
Wait. You're telling me Caleb Downs, who's getting this OTA work as the punter protector, is not going to play special teams and be the punt protector?
You know what? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. He better not be anywhere near special teams. I don't care if he's good at it or not. I don't care. You've got fifth string linebackers that can go be a punt protector. Leave him off the field, please.
To the point of the green dots moved around a little, right? They've thrown it on, our guy Shamar James. They've definitely moved it around a little bit. Winners, they've moved it around. But yeah, the thing since Demo's been back, right? Second team Mike, in OTAs. And then first team Will is what they're saying. But then yesterday, of course, this is recorded. So this yesterday, I do mean Tuesday. It was him and Barham with the first string. I don't know. It gets me excited. I've told people before, I love the draft that we've had, right? Jaysean Barham is who I'm the most excited to see from this draft and what it is. And then I'm hearing Overshown and Barham with the first team. I'm like, oh, that's you could do some things with that. I kind of like that.
Barham is just a scary dude, bro. He's got the body of like a thick defensive end, but he's as fast as a linebacker. Not like a spurner or anything, but the dude can move and he can hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned earlier, wrecking ball guys. Barham's a wrecking ball, dude. Just point him in a direction, watch him go. He's going to be a heavy blitz specialist, I think, in his first season. And then as he learns the position and learns how to play linebacker more and more, he'll do other things, I'm sure. But for his rookie season, as much as you can get him moving forward to just nail people and blow things up, whether that's the blocker or the ball, let him go. Same thing with Leofau. Those are two guys that I think you just got to wind them up, and let them spin. The little toys that, you wind them. That's them, man. Just wind it up and watch them go.
Cue the Miley Cyrus. I come in like a wrecking
That's gonna be the. I gotta Photoshop that. That'll be the thumbnail. Just Barham on a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I love it. Him and Leofau. We got two wrecking balls.
Yeah. I love it. But no, Barham is a guy though. You just look at him and you could just get excited. And you saw the picture, I'm sure, next to Ezra Rockley. He made Ezra Rockley look like an infant. He was tiny.
Yeah.
That doesn't get you excited. I don't know what will.
No. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. But OTA is getting busy moving around. Like we talked about earlier, Leofau. Now it's he's outside. Oh my goodness, his career's about to be resurrected. And he's getting to the quarterback. And okay, hey,
we'll see.
We hope so. It's good dog starting to see it right when the pads come on. But it's Jalen Cropper season 2 to sin. No disrespect to Jalen Cropper. Remember OTAs, he's made it there. Get down there, it starts out okay, and then it slowly fades. But it's cool, man. Look, health is wealth, right? We're getting through these things healthy so far with the mandatory camp coming on deck. So I'm excited to see these guys and everything, the intricacies, how they're working and moving guys around. And I do want to touch one more thing before we get out of here. Sure. I do want to talk about Rashan Gary for a second. And going off of the Armstead podcast, former offensive lineman in the NFL who just started doing his thing. And he had Tyler Smith on. And he asked Tyler Smith, said, hey, look, of all the additions this offseason, draft, free agency, trade, whatever, like, what's the one that's been most, I think he said impressive? I think it was what he asked, or most excited about, somewhere in that term. I'm paraphrasing there a little bit. And Tyler Smith mentioned Rashan Gary that was his answer. And my ears perked up. I was, oh, that's interesting. Could have went a lot of different ways and went with Rashan Gary. And within that question within that answer he had, he talks about like what they're doing in OTAs, and you do get film work, but it's very limited, obviously, in what they're doing right now. So once they're through with the OTAs and they're in there with the trainers, getting the body work, icing up, all those things to get ready for the next day, you look over, you see Gary with the iPad, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And Gary's like, "Yeah, I'm just going through everything, the individual drills, and making sure all the guys are doing the right work and making sure they're attacking it the right kind of way for what we're trying to build here." And for Tyler Smith, and like, let's be clear about Tyler Smith, they all pro guard, all the inches in the world. And that's the thing that he really took away and impressed him. To me, those are the things that excite me from a football standpoint. When we talk about changing the culture of things,
Mm-hmm.
whenever Shoddy was originally hired, his opening presser talking about we got to get guys that love football. To me, culture isn't an overnight change. Right, it's a change that's built foundationally and it's built brick by brick. And to me, that answer from Tyler Smith and highlighting what's going on at OTAs, where he said you get about 12 plays in individual drills, not a whole lot, but Gary's looking at that in OTAs in that realm. But I think it's just a great brick when we're talking about changing the culture, specifically just for Divas. Forget the program in-house, right, Dilly? Forget the program in-house. I'm talking about just from a standpoint of the defensive side, that kind of brick, and being that attention to detail and getting after it. And right, I check mark as to why maybe Christian Parker said, "Hey, go get me Gary as well," too, because I understand what he's going to bring to that side of the ball in that spectrum for me.
Yeah, and listen, this team, I've said it before, and maybe it's harsh, I don't know, but this team seems to have lacked professionalism in the past. I mean, professionalism as in when you're not on the field, what are you doing? Are you doing the stuff you're supposed to be doing as far as studying? Are you putting in the work in the weight room? Are you're paying attention? And you heard it multiple times, even during like the McCarthy era. Guys weren't practicing well, practices weren't going well, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
getting corrected. That screams a lack of professionalism to me, and that's a cultural thing. Okay, now you're in year
Mm-hmm.
two of Schottenheimer. You talk about culture change, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, but you've got to bring in guys who are interested in changing the culture. And you drafted Caleb Downs, super smart guy, already vocal in the field, telling people where to go, going to be a culture changer for today and the long run. But then you look at specific rooms, you look at the edges and the D line, and Rashan Gary is a guy who's been around for a little while, and he's not a guy that's going to get you 12, 15 sacks in a season, but he's a guy who is going to be a leader in the locker room, an inspiring presence, and he's a guy that the young guys can look at and say, I want to do what he does as a professional, and see him studying and all that stuff. But on the field, he's going to help these other guys get their sacks. Going back to kind of the numbers talk, he's not going to get you double digit sacks every season, but he's going to allow the Malachi Lawrences, the Ezrakus to go on feast because he's going to keep the team busy on the other side of that formation, right on the left side or whatever side he's on. Maybe take up a couple blockers every now and then. But if you leave him one on one, you're dedicating two guys over to Ezraku or the other side. He's a guy that he can get sacks. I mean, he's had nice seasons where he's been a high contributor pressure wise and sack wise, and
Mm-hmm.
so is he an elite stud player? No, but he's a very, very, very nice addition to a team that needs a ton of pieces on that defensive line to keep these guys fresh at the edges, keep the edges fresh. I'm very excited for what Rashan Gary is going to bring to this team this season.
I think if people liked what Clowney was able to do coming in late for this team, I think he'll give you what Clowney did plus some.
Sure.
I think that's what he's going to bring to the table. And again, it's not that Clowney had an All Pro season last year or nothing like that. I'm not saying Rashawn Gary's going to have an All Pro season, but I think he's a guy that's very good against the run. And when I say very good against the run, like Demarcus Lawrence type.
Well, that's who he reminds me of is
Right.
DeMarcus Lawrence. He's not
And
going
then
to get
he'll
you a bunch
get
of
you that.
sacks, but
Yeah, he's going to get you that 7 to 9 sacks,
yeah.
right? Bully the edge a little bit, but you need those guys, and that's something we desperately missed last year in a lot of ways. But I want to the point that you made about the professionalism, right? I just think there are players, and this is all professional sports. This isn't just the Dallas Cowboys, right? Before it says, "Oh, Nick said," like no, not that. What I'm saying is there are guys and players around these professional sports that they love what the game affords them, but they don't love the game. And I know
Sure.
some of those guys personally in my life, right, within that spectrum that I played with, but that's whenever I hear Shotty about guys that love football, kind of is like that overarching consistency talk from him. It's a do you love the game of football? Are you going to do the right things? Are you going to be, locked in when you need to be locked in and not what the game affords you at times? So whenever you do hear, we're practicing bad and we're just not correcting it, or, particularly McCarthy, we had a bad after the game. I was a bad practice week. We just didn't get it done. Well, I mean, that's your job as the coach, though, right? I don't want to hear about we
Yeah,
had bad practice. We had bad practices. Well, why didn't you fix it? What was going
100%.
on there? And look, and I was a McCarthy guy personally, to be clear, but those kind of things aggravated the hell out of me when it came to that. So yeah, when I hear that about Gary, and those are the things I think whenever it's about loving the game of football that he means. It's not, oh, I love going out here and playing a kid's game, right? It's what are you doing in the dark that's going to make it better on the field? And I think those are the things that excite me
Yeah,
about
and
the idea of
listen,
what they want to do.
you've got to. It's the same thing as sales, right? I'm in sales, and so when you're selling to a room of people, right, you've got to have one person in that room bought in, right? A
Hmm.
loud vocal person, a leader type
Right.
personality that's bought in, and they'll sell it to everybody else. I think the Cowboys have that, not just with Gary, but multiple guys in that room. They have guys bought in the secondary, the cornerback room, defensive back room, linebacker room. They've got guys bought in kind of all over the place, and it's infectious.
Overshown. Yeah.
Overshown. It's truly infectious. Just like when you lose a bunch, right? And you got a bunch of losers and guys that don't want to, put in the effort. That's contagious as well. And so I think the Cowboys, with the additions they brought in as far as leadership qualities and what they want to do, loving the game of football, it's not just the right kind of guys who that's their only trait, but it's those kinds of guys. And by the way, they can play on the field as well. They're pretty damn good football players. So I think the Cowboys are really building this thing out in the best possible way that they possibly can.
Cowboys Nation, stand up.